Thanks, folks, for watching the C-Files. Thank you for joining us. Quickly, short video, I need to make some corrections from yesterday. I was talking about, in the last video, this incident in Charlotte where police officers were killed, U.S. Marshals were killed serving a search warrant with a task force. And so let me go ahead and do those corrections. Number one, I stated yesterday that it was a Charlotte sergeant that was part of that task force that was wounded and in intensive care. That was incorrect. So I want to correct that. It was a police officer who was in uniform. He was part of the support units, and he was not on the entry team. He was not a part of the task force. And when I tell you the story of what happened with that, it's harrowing. It's incredible. But he unfortunately succumbed to his injuries and passed away late last night, or late for us, depending on what part of the country you're in. I kind of knew that was going to happen. I had some inside information that he might not make it, but I didn't want to put anything out yesterday on that. And so our hearts go out to his family. It's a very, very sad week for law enforcement this week. So that was the first correction. I also stated that, well, the other part was that he was a part of the entry team. So here's what happened with him. He was a part of the extraction team that went in to rescue other officers as they were coming under fire. These other officers were down, and typically what happens is there's tactics and techniques to doing an extraction of officers that are down in a bad situation like that. I'm not going to talk about those tactics because nobody needs to know that other than law enforcement. But he was a part of that, went in to rescue. Other officers had been shot and sustained the wounds that he sustained trying to rescue his fellow officers. So he gave his life to try and rescue other officers that were down, which makes the story even more sad and amazing at the same time. The heroic efforts to save the life of another person and losing your life in the process is, well, they give high awards in the military for that. So some people have won the Medal of Honor because of actions like that. Law enforcement has a Medal of Valor, but I mean, it's a moot point at this point because he's not here to receive it. Our hearts and our prayers go out to the families of the 4 officers that were lost, the 3 U.S. Marshals and the Charlotte police officer that lost his life. And then 4 others wounded, and they are, from what I understand, are going to make a recovery. So, tough day. I think it's going to be a tough year for law enforcement, unfortunately. There's a lot going on. We see the protests going on all over the place in the universities and so forth. And I don't know how much violence will come out of those. I don't know. I mean, we're just going to have to wait and see how that goes. But at any rate, I just want to make that correction and give that update. I'm trying to think if there's anything I need to correct from yesterday. I think that was it. Yeah, I think that was it. Everything else I think was accurate. So I don't like putting out bad information. And so whenever I find it, I have done that, I want to come back and correct it right away. Uh, and I don't do news. I talk about scripture, the Bible, and I talk about it in relation to our modern society and how things are functioning in our modern society is typically what I talk about. But I do have an extensive background in law enforcement, and this one hit home. So pray for those who are trying to protect people. And I know that there are going to be some people out there that are going to take the opposite view and cheer this, thinking that all law enforcement officers are bad and all this kind of stuff. Those folks are imbalanced in their understanding and view of law enforcement. Yeah, to some degree, some federal agencies have been weaponized against the American people. I understand that. But that wasn't the case here. I have never had a critical thought or a critical comment toward the U.S. Marshal Service. They are not weaponized against the American people. They are actually protecting people from highly dangerous, armed and dangerous fugitives that need to be taken into custody. The patrol officers that were on that scene, they were doing the same thing. They were trying to take a dangerous person off the street that would have been a threat and a danger to his community, to that community. And they gave their lives in the process of trying to protect that community from someone who is armed and dangerous. That is the pinnacle of performing your duty and sacrifice in law enforcement. That's the pinnacle of it. That helps. That's what gives law enforcement a good name. Now, there's a lot of things that give law enforcement a bad name, but what those officers did to sacrifice themselves for the Charlotte community is so commendable that anyone who would criticize them, anyone who would share this, that they are imbalanced and they're not right in the head as far as I'm concerned. Thanks for watching. I just want to give that update. God bless. I'll see you next time on the C-Files.